All right, let's talk about something that's probably confused a lot of us here in the UK at some point. Staring at your payslip and seeing your tax code has changed. It's a bit of a shock, right? Well, today, with a little help from the experts at Pro Tax Accountant, we're going to break down exactly what it means, why it happens, and what you can do about it. So, picture this, yeah? You get your payslip, you're expecting everything to be business as usual, and then you spot it. That tax code, the one that's always been 1250L, has suddenly become 1185L. And your first thought is probably, hang on, am I paying more tax? And you know what? That's exactly the right question to be asking.
So what does this actually mean for your bank account? Well, it's pretty simple, really. That change from 1250L to 1185L means your tax-free allowance for the year has just dropped by exactly £650. That's £650 less you can earn before the taxman starts taking a slice. And that drop has a real impact. For a basic rate taxpayer, losing that £650 from your allowance means you'll end up paying about £130 extra in tax over the course of the year. Now, it might not sound like a fortune, but it adds up. And more importantly, you really need to know why it's happening in the first place. Okay, so first things first, let's actually decode these numbers. Because once you understand what your tax code is saying, you're in a much better position to make sure you're paying the right amount. Think of your tax code as a little message from HMRC directly to your employer. It's just telling them, hey, this much of this person's salary is tax-free. And the trick is, you just take the number in the code and multiply it by 10. That gives you your annual tax-free allowance. See? Simple. So here it is, side by side, plain as day. The old 1250L code, that meant a £12,500 tax-free allowance. Your new 1185L code knocks that down to £11,850. And that little L at the end, it just means you're entitled to the standard allowance. The important bit is the change in the numbers.
Now here's a really important bit of info. The standard tax code for the 2025-26 tax year is actually 1257L. So if you're seeing 1185L, it isn't just some random yearly update. It's a clear signal that HMRC has actively gone in and reduced your personal allowance for a very specific reason. Which, of course, brings us to the big question. Why? Why on earth would HMRC do this? Let's get into the most common reasons this happens. So the usual suspects are things like taxable company benefits, like a company car or private medical insurance. It could also be HMRC collecting tax that you underpaid last year. Other triggers could be starting a new job, having a second one, getting the state pension, or even having some income from a side hustle. Let's dig into a couple of these. First up, one of the most common ones, taxable company benefits. These are sometimes called benefits in kind. Basically, they're the perks you get from your job that aren't cash but still have a value that HMRC wants to tax. So, let's take a look at a real-world example. Meet Sarah. Her new job is great. It comes with a company van and medical insurance. But from a tax perspective, those perks aren't free. So HMRC simply lowers her tax-free allowance to make sure the tax she owes on those benefits gets collected automatically through her pay each month. Okay, reason number 2, and this is another really common one. Underpaid tax from a previous year. It happens. Maybe you had 2 jobs for a bit and the tax got mixed up, or maybe there was just a payroll mistake. Whatever the reason, HMRC needs to get that money back. Now, the good news here is they usually don't send you a terrifying bill demanding a huge lump sum payment. Instead, they just adjust your tax code. By lowering your tax-free allowance, they can collect what you owe in smaller, much more manageable chunks, straight from your salary over the year. So now that you have an idea of why your code might have changed, the next logical step is to figure out if that change is actually correct. Because, mistakes can and do happen. And you can check this yourself online. It's pretty straightforward. Just log in to your personal tax account on the Gov.uk website. Once you're in, look for a document called a P2 coding notice. This thing is brilliant. It breaks down exactly how HMRC calculated your code, so you can see if the income and benefits they've got on record for you are actually right. Okay, so what if you do all that? You find your P2 notice and you spot something that just doesn't look right. Maybe they've listed a company benefit you don't even have anymore. Well, you need to get it fixed. And this is the big one, isn't it? Because an incorrect tax code means you could be overpaying tax every single month. So it's absolutely crucial you take action and make sure you're not giving the taxman more than you should. You've basically got 2 options here. You can, of course, contact HMRC yourself to report the mistake. But let's be honest, that can sometimes be a bit of a mission. Your other option for a bit more clarity and peace of mind is to get some expert help. And this is where a firm like ProTax Accountant can be a real lifesaver. They can look over your coding notice, spot any issues, and then deal with HMRC for you to get it all sorted out and make sure you're not paying a penny more in tax than you have to. So if that sounds like a good idea, you can get in touch with the team at ProTax Accountant. The best ways to reach them are on the screen now, either by WhatsApp or phone on 07985 689912, or you can drop them an email at info@protaxaccountant.co.uk. And for more easy-to-understand guides just like this one, it's well worth subscribing to the ProTax Accountant YouTube channel. At the end of the day, your tax code isn't just a random set of numbers. It's telling the story of your finances for the year. The only question is it telling the right one? Thanks for joining me.